to appearance that TMTHS exist, be it as exceptions to the particular laws of a world, in no way exempts us from respecting our materialist axiom, insofar as everything that exists is woven out of bodies and languages. We must be able to explain how TMTHS come to exist as bodies within a given world. We must, in short, be capable of thinking how TMTHS appear. I am a sophisticated Platonist, not a vulgar one. I do not uphold that TMTHS pre-exist in a separate intelligible place before becoming mundane and that they are born simply by descending from the heavens above. Certainly, a TMTH is eternal in that it is never confined to a particular time, such a restriction being hardly tolerable for that which be a prisoner of no world, not even that in which it is born. Any given time is always the time of a world. This, as we have seen, is what misled Marx himself. Sophocles' tragedy touches us not, as he claimed, because of its belonging to a previous bygone age, but, rather, only inasmuch as its significance is not exhausted by that which materially binds it to its world of appearance. This is why, moreover, the cultural presentation of artwork so in vogue today, with its painstaking reconstitution of context, obsession with history and relativization of hierarchies of value, is ultimately so deadening. It operates on behalf of our conception of time, the historical and relativistic conception of democratic materialism, against the eternity of truths. Far preferable in this respect is a bric-a-brac of anarchic collections such as one used to see in small provincial museums, or the vertiginous shock of analogies, the angel of Reims brushing shoulders with a Khmer goddess, of the kind composing Malraux's imaginary museum one. Yet the eternity of truths must be compatible with the singularity of their appearance. Descartes famously affirmed God to have created eternal truths. Our paradox is even more radical. Created without any God, out of the particular materials of a world, truths are nonetheless eternal. We must, therefore, rationally account for nothing less than the appearance of eternity in time. Our starting point is, of course, a general doctrine of appearance, in being and event. As in my first manifesto, I showed that when the there is divested of all the qualitative predicates which make of it a singular thing, or what we will later call an object, and is reduced to its mere being, it may be thought of as a pure multiplicity. This tree that is in front of me will accordingly, should I strive to subtract, first, its effective presence in a specific world, its surroundings, the horizon, the other trees, the nearby meadow, etc., and, then, the entanglement of determinations which make it cohere for me as a tree, the color green, the spread of its branches, the play of light and shadow among its leaves, etc., end up reduced to an infinitely complex multiplicity composed of other multiplicities. No primordial, or atomic, unity will put a halt to this composition. The tree as such is not made up of tree atoms that would found its qualitative essence. What one comes upon at the end is not the one but the void. The tree is a particular interweaving of multiplicities which are themselves woven out of the void alone, in accordance with formal generative processes that only mathematics accounts for. Such was the pivotal thesis of the ontology I proposed 20 years ago. Being is a multiplicity plucked from the void, and the theory of being qua being is nothing other than mathematics, which is quite simply to say that ontology, in its etymological sense of a discourse on being, is historically accomplished as a mathematics of multiplicities. As a result, in the case of the tree, as in Valerie's poem for instance, you lean, great plane tree, offering yourself up nude like a Scythian youth, and just as white, but your candor is bound and your foot secured by the force of the sight. To it is not a question of that which is, mathematically, conceivable as the pure form of the tree's being. What's at issue is something altogether different, namely, this being as it appears in the world or constitutes, by its appearance, a component of the latter. The poem is not the guardian of being, as Heidegger thought, but the exposure to language of the resources of appearing. Further, This exposure itself is not yet the thinking of appearing, which, as we will see, takes the form of logic alone. Let LLS take any multiplicity. That this multiplicity appears means simply that, in addition to its being qua being, which is intrinsically determined as a pure multiplicity, or multiplicity without one because there are no atoms of being, there is the fact that this multiplicity is there. Hegel was right to join a doctrine of being there to his doctrine of pure being. The fact that a multiple is in S, me way localized, such that the multipline difference of its being is assigned to a world, goes Ch2 and the resource of this multiple being as thought by mathematics, a sort of impetus, topological in essence, prevents the multiple from being merely what it is since, as what appears, it is there that it has to be what it is. But v hat is the meaning of this being there, this being that comes to be insofar as it appears. We do not have the means to separate an extension from what occupies it, or a world from the objects of which it is composed. Being qua being is absolutely homogeneous, a mathematically thinkable, pure multiplicity. There is not the localizing being of worlds and the localized being of objects, nor is there the universe as the absolute place of all there is. It is mathematically demonstrable that the theme of a total multiplicity or multiplicity of all the multiplicities is incoherent, which means that, being unthinkable, it is equally incapable of giving rise to a being. For Parmenides is right. Being and thinking are the same. The result of all this is that the pure essence of being there, or appearing, consists not of a form of being but of arms a relation. Our plane tree appears as such insofar as its pure being, a multiplicity, is differentiated from the plane tree next to it, the meadow, the red roof of the house, the black crow perched on a branch, etc. But it is also differentiated from itself when it leans in the wind and shakes its foliage as a lion does its mane, thereby modifying its overall aspect even though it is also still the same as secured by the force of the sight. The world in which the plane tree appears is, therefore, for each multiplicity that figures within it, the general system of differences and identities that connects it to all the others. One can reasonably call logic a formal theory of relations. It follows that the thought of appearing is a logic. It is even possible to maintain that saying a thing appears or saying it is constituted in a logic comes to the same thing. The world in which the thing appears is this very logic as this is deployed with respect to all the multiplicities that figure within it. The technical form of this logic will be rendered a bit clearer in the next chapter. What is essential to grasp here is that a truth, insofar as it appears, is a singular body that enters into a differentiating relation with an infinity of other bodies according to the rules of a logic of relation. The process of a truth that appears in a world necessarily takes the form of a logical incorporation through differentiation to things